Listen, Jesus doesn't come to your house to rob you. Jesus comes to redefine you. Write this down. The courage to give starts with giving myself to Jesus. 2 Corinthians 8, Paul gives us a picture, and this has been my prayer for us as a church, a picture of what a culture of generosity looks like in a church. He says, now, brothers and sisters, I want you to know about this, what's happening at the churches in Macedonia. In the midst of a very severe trial, in their 2020, okay? In the midst of a very severe trial, their overflowing joy and extreme poverty welled up in rich generosity. For I testify that they gave as much as they were able and even beyond their ability, entirely on their own. They urgently pleaded with us for the privilege of sharing in this service to the Lord's people, and they exceeded our expectations because they gave themselves first to the Lord and then by the will of God to us. Listen, radical giving comes from a radically secure heart. And the world doesn't know what to do with stuff like this. This makes no sense to the world. You know, the story of Sandals Church is the story of a culture of generosity. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching, or why you're at a campus right now. Even before Sandals had a campus, there's been incredible stories of people giving all kinds of things. Stocks. One person gave a Porsche. Matt said, I drove a Porsche around for a week. But one of the coolest stories was a woman in our church, God put it on her heart to give her wedding ring. It was a $17,000 wedding ring. And I wish I could have been there to hear that conversation, with her and her husband. Like, are you sure you want to give your wedding ring? Like, maybe God said Bitcoin. Bitcoin sounds like wedding ring. Maybe God was Bitcoin. No, wedding ring. But can you imagine, just that courageous moment that she stood and obeyed God, saying, this makes no sense, but God, this is what you want me to give. What's really cool is another man in our church found out about that story that week and bought the ring from Sandals for more money and then gave that ring back to her. Listen to me. God does not want your stuff. God wants you. God wants you. And if you're here today and you've never ran to Jesus, he has everything you need. And listen, his promise to you is greater than to just come visit your home. He wants to come be with you and live inside your heart forever. The best decision you can make is not a financial one, it's a spiritual one. But for those of us who follow Jesus, listen to me. I want to challenge us because we need to do some work on the inside. We need to take a good look at our generosity and ask, man, God, what needs to change on the inside? Because the King is in the room. When we sing that song, do you know why we can sing that song, that the King is in the room? The King is in the room because the King is in you. The King is in our church because the King is in you. The King is in our city because the King is in you. And the King is on his way to every tribe, every tongue, every nation in this world, because that's the mission and the purpose, number one, that God has given you and me. But listen to me, some of you have left that ocean and you've just been digging. And you don't know why. You're so exhausted and empty. And my prayer for you is that you would come back. That you would have this moment like Zacchaeus where you would say, something's got to change. This is a moment to run. This is a moment to stand. This is a moment to do whatever it takes to change, because we have a mission in the world. And listen, my prayer is that something inside you would break loose where you'd say, I don't care. I don't care anymore if, this makes a sense to the world. I want to make a difference to the world. And that we would begin a culture of generosity that would do amazing things.